Welcome back. I'm Bill Dillon, President of the Logan County Genealogical and Historical Society, and we're continuing with the Civil War series today, and this would be number 15 in the series. In the last couple of videos, we've talked about the 38th Illinois and their adventures at Fredericktown, Missouri. This time we're back with the 7th Illinois, and they're back at Fort Holt after traveling all over Missouri as well. So we're going to take a look at what they're up to. And this this letter was dated October 27th, 1861 from Camp Holt. Dear Editor, except to inform you of the continued improving health of the company, there is nothing of importance to communicate this week. Next to Cairo, Fort Holt is the dullest place for a soldier there is, and what is more, there is no prospect of any active movement for a long time yet. Last night at dress parade, an order was read requiring the men to commence tomorrow morning to construct houses for winter quarters. Captain Larison's company, I understand, have been ordered to Bird's Point to construct their quarters there. We do not like the arrangement, but as it is our duty to obey, we have to submit with as good grace as possible. Since I wrote you last, we have been visited by a rebel boat bearing dispatches to General Grant at Cairo. They related to an exchange of prisoners. Our boys all crowded to the banks of the river to get a sight of the Secesh officers, 2 in number, who stood upon the hurricane deck. Our boys told them that the whole family would return the visit shortly at Columbus and would make an extended stay. The rebel boat was met by our boat, the John D. Terry. Lashed to her, and the 2 went downstream, the officers not being permitted to land. Our fortifications here are nearly complete, which fact pleases the boys much, as the large fatigue parties which have been detailed since we have been here are their special horror. We think we have all secure now, and if they obtain a permanent foothold in Kentucky, it will be some distance from Fort Holt. We have been favored with visits from a number of Logan County folks since our arrival here, among whom are Mr. Chatham Ewing and Dr. Deskins, who will remain here attending their sons who have been very sick. Both are much better now and will visit their homes shortly. Our sick list at present consists of Private Prim, Improving, G. Waltman, W. Oma, D. Pence, A. Watkins, J. McKenzie, nearly well, Privates Cook, McMahon, and Ewing in the hospital. The list of sick in the regiment has been decreased nearly 60 the past week. Some changes in our company have taken place lately. Corporal Forsyth has resigned, and with Abe Leslie joined the regimental band. Corporals Fikes and Duff have also resigned their offices. The former is now a drummer, and the latter a fifer for the company. Yours truly, PHC. Dr. Deskins they're talking about visiting was John Deskins of Postville fame, and he ran the tavern, Postville Tavern, where Abraham Lincoln and the other attorneys and the judges stayed while at court in Logan County. We have some news from the home front. They had the election on the 2nd November, so we have election information, and seems like the Union people took a large share of the positions. He says, as we predicted, and as was generally anticipated throughout the county, the Union ticket is reported elected by handsome majorities. R.B. Ewing was elected county judge by 9. John T. Jenkins, county clerk by 312. M. McElhaney received the entire vote of all parties. James H. Hole's majority was 23. John Shoup and Asa Barnes are the associate judges. J. H. Beadler, school commissioner, Joseph Ewing, surveyor, and J. F. Boy, coroner. Good for the loyal people of Logan County. We published the official returns in another place. Then we have some notes from that came in through the news for some of the soldiers. And this one is printed on November 7th, as with the previous one. And it says, Lieutenant C.H. Miller returned from Missouri today. He brought with him a secession rifle taken at the Battle of Fredericktown. And it says, we learned that Charles H. Miller of our place has been promoted to a captaincy in the 38th Regiment Illinois Volunteers. Remember we talked about the cavalry company or cavalry regiment that was getting together in LaSalle County near Ottawa. And it says the 1st Battalion of the 4th Illinois Cavalry, Colonel Dickey left Ottawa on Thursday for Springfield under command of Major James, formerly of the Chicago Tribune. Command consists of the following: Company A, Captain Osband; Company B, Captain Collins; Company C, Captain Townsend; Company D, Captain Feller. They go overland in short marches, drilling as they proceed. The remaining battalion will leave Ottawa in a few days. And that will include Captain Wimple's company from Mount Pulaski. And we have another letter from Conklin. And this one is dated November 6th, 1861. And it has a little more information. And tells the story of how they almost got into a fight. Mr. Editor, you have heard, of course, of the Battle of Belmont, and it will be useless for me to give any particulars about that, more than to say that our loss is infinitely less than it has been first reported. Our killed numbering less than 100. Our boys cleaned them out at first and took possession of their camp, destroyed it, burned their guns, and shot their horses, spiked their cannon. While our forces were engaged in this, a large reinforcement was sent from Columbus, and that means they had to cross the Mississippi River, because Belmont's in Missouri and Columbus is in Kentucky, to the aid of the rebels, who surprised our troops and forced them to retreat to the boats, exposed to fire in front and rear. Nearly all of our loss occurred in this retreat. Though we saved all of our own guns, prisoners, and baggage, the whole may be summed up as follows: killed on our side, less than 100, wounded 100, prisoners 50, killed on the rebel side 250, wounded 200, prisoners 180. The report of the rebels I get from our officers who went down with a flag of truce to bury the dead, and from the rebel prisoners. Thursday night we received orders to march the next morning down this side of the river to a point about 8 miles from Columbus, where we were to await until the next day, when we would be joined by soldiers from Paducah, and then we were to go on the attack at Columbus. We all thought we had a fight on our hands, for certain. The next morning we were all on the road, Company H being the largest company, notwithstanding the fact that 30 of our men were taken from us to help fill up some other companies to a respectable size. We arrived at our destination about noon and pitched our tents to wait for the Paducah boys. we could distinctly hear the roar of cannon and musketry at Belmont. And though all were impatient to go on, we tried to content ourselves till the morrow, when we could try our hands. We heard all sorts of rumors during the day, just enough to keep matters in a provokingly uncertain state. When just at dark, a messenger dashed into our camp with orders for Colonel Cook. We all crowded around, and to our disappointment, we announced the battle over and commanded us, if possible, to retreat to Fort Holt that night, as we were in extreme danger of being surrounded and cut off. So we were obliged to come back and arrived at the fort at 1 o'clock in the morning, tired and angry at everyone because we were not allowed to be in the muss. I went to Cairo the next day and saw the wounded. It was an awful sight. Arms and legs were shot off, with wounds of almost every conceivable nature. Some were dead and some were dying, others groaning in their agony. The very air smelled of blood, and the whole seemed sickening. I was glad to breathe the pure air once more. I next went to see the prisoners and found them pretty much as had been represented in the papers, with the exception of the Tennessee troops, who are a fine-looking set of men, well uninformed and intelligent. They were perfectly free to converse, and were astonished to find themselves so well treated. Among them were a number of Illinois men who were recognized by some of our boys. One of our soldiers discovered among them 2 cousins. Another, a brother. Many of them had been impressed in the Southern Army and were anxious to join us. Our soldiers all are eager to try it again and are loudly demanding to be marched to Columbus right off. But I hardly think they will be gratified very soon. Our prisoners were surprised to find our men more than a match for them, and some of them declare that they have seen enough to be satisfied. Our boys have been receiving letters from the Logan County announcing the death of Captain Holden. At first, we were all, the captain included, disposed to treat the matter as a joke. But when we heard that the preparations were about to be made for his funeral, but we did not know that it might be so, and Captain H. proposed to go up and attend himself. I can assure you that our captain is all right yet, and is in hopes to make his mark among the Secesh the first opportunity, and above all, we can't spare him. PHC. So they almost got into the Battle of Belmont, and they're going into winter camp. That happened every winter during the war because the weather never cooperated, and the mud and the ice and the snow and everything like that made it too difficult to maneuver, let alone fight the fight. So that's where we are. We'll come back next time with more home news and more letters from Mr. Conklin.